Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for the 6th day of August, 2020. Well, it's a Thursday. It's a Jupiter day, but it's in retrograde. So we're talking inner expansion today. And in about a week, 8 days maybe, I think Uranus is also going to go into retrograde, so that'll add an 8th planetary body because the others aren't. Or I look to see, and I don't have any, there aren't any going out yet. So we're still going to have, right, we have 7 in retrograde right now. Check the magical forecast for the day. That includes the current astrological positions and whatnot, and as well as the magical correspondences for the day, for that particular day. You can see everything there that shows all the retrograde stuff and what at least I believe the key understanding is surrounding all of it. I think that when things go into retrograde, whatever their outer expression is, it turns inward. So issues start arising, or maybe it gives you the opportunity to look at things in a way that maybe you hadn't in a while. Especially when you have both Saturn and Jupiter in retrograde, that sort of happens, where Saturn slows things down and gives you a chance to look inward at things as well. And then if Jupiter is has such a massive effect on things, it makes everything bigger. And so whatever that inner process, you really get a chance when Jupiter's in retrograde to really go within and take a look at perceptions and how they've been affecting your lives, and whether or not it's time to maybe move past some of it and to adopt something new. And so, Pluto's in retrograde, so tremendous transformation there. And I just think that I think Chiron is too. And so, we've just got all of these planetary bodies that are influencing profound change in this 22 years. So I think that it's just really I think it's just something to pay attention to, and I think it's a process we all need to go through, whether we know we're doing it or not. I think that we are. I think that we're reassessing what we're seeing. I think we're reassessing what we're hearing, and maybe looking at it with new eyes, new perception. Maybe taking a look at the authority structure here that we exist in, and maybe we're starting to see how destructive it is. And so I think that whether you're talking about, the policing or the effect on the citizenry or oppression in all forms, it's like, we can't vote by mail because it's a problem. No, it isn't. We've been doing it here in Oregon for over 20 years. What is it, 22 years now? Easiest thing in the world. And you can mail it if you want to. You don't have to. You can take it to drop-off boxes. That's what we're going to do this time. We usually just mail it. We vote from our chairs, and I vote from my recliner, and then we take a nice little walk up the driveway, and we look at everything, and we talk about everything. Because usually then if it's a fall time vote and not a springtime vote, then we're going to go and we're going, or summertime vote, then we're going to go and walk up the driveway and look at how everything grew and what's still growing and all of that as we, happily deposit our ballots in the mailbox and stick the flag up. I'm not going to do that this time because we don't know what's going to happen with the Postal Service. And so can you believe that? That's just nuts. So we'll figure out, we'll go online and figure out where the drop-off boxes are, and we'll just drop them off. We're going to do it the day we get it. We already know what we're voting on and who we're voting for, so, it's really only one that matters right now. I mean, that's not true, but you know what I mean? Well, we're already there. So we're going to do what we have to do. You get them in plenty of time. You get your voter pamphlet, and then that comes first, and then so you can be looking at it, and then you get your ballot. You take it back in. It's the safest way to do this, really. And for anybody in the federal government to say otherwise, well, that's dirty dealing. That's what that is. It's dirty dealing. So anyway, I need to bend my cards back here. I'm having a real hard time shuffling them. They, after a certain point, you know, they get bendy. See? And they get just a little bit, you know, and it's just a little bit too much. So, well, I hope everybody's having a good day today. We've got Tish James, who's the AG for New York City, is going to, or no, New York City, New York State, and she's going to come out with an announcement today, 11:30 Eastern Time, 8:30 my time. So I wanted to get both the esoteric influences readings and this one done. And so I've done the esoteric. I haven't looked at it yet. I'll do that while I'm waiting for her to show up, and because I want to hear what she has to say. She's a pretty important attorney general, and she doesn't mince words, and she doesn't like nonsense. And so we'll see what she's got today. But the fact that she said it said, she put the word national in her press release, who knows? So I don't know. This could have an effect on everybody. And so we need to listen to her and see what she has to say. So either follow along online or you know, watch your TV or something. But I guess it's going to be 11:30 Eastern. So adjust your time zone accordingly. So I think this is probably good enough. We're going to go ahead and get started here. If this is your first time here, I chat a little while I shuffle, so you don't have to just sit and listen to that. If you've come back, thank you so much. And click subscribe if you haven't. I'd sure love you to do that. It's nice to grow our little family here. Leave comments if you want to. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them in any way that I can. I'm not, you know, somebody who knows everything about tarot. There are a few people out there, though, that know a whole lot. Deborah Lipp's one of them. Rachel Patterson is another. And I do recommend lots of people out there. You can research it. But I tend to gravitate toward, I like traditional stuff. I like the Hermetic stuff. So there's a lot of Hermetic authors out there. Lon Milo Duquette is one that's outstanding. Now he writes about the Thoth Tarot, which is my favorite deck. And so maybe this next week I'll use that in the expanded esoteric reading on the blog. When I write that up, I include a tarot card and a geomancy rune as well. And so I try to change decks each week. And so I think maybe that's what I'll do. I'll use the Thoth Tarot next week for the tarot card of the day for next week's esoteric influences. So and that way each day I'll just choose one, you know, I'll shuffle and take one from the deck for each day. And that way people get an idea of what different decks look like. So that was kind of my thinking along there. But anyway, check both of these out. They'll both be esoteric influences and somewhat daily tarot and rune videos. Will go up on the side panel of the blog. Let's see what else, little housekeeping stuff while I shuffle. I guess that's it. But in any event, what I do here, if you haven't been here before, I take 3 cards. I'm going to take the 13th one each time for randomness sake, because I don't want any kind of shuffling or lack thereof to influence anything about this particular reading. Regular readings, I just lay them out. But for this one, I really want to be random. And then when I'm done, I'm going to take a rune from the Elder Futhark bag when we're satisfied with the reading. If we need to add more cards, we will. But if not, we'll just do a 3-card reading. And we'll go on to the Elder Futhark rune, and then we'll finish out with a geomancy rune, just sort of tying it all together. So let's go ahead and get started and see what we have today. Well, we had this the other day, yesterday maybe, the 10 of Pentacles. It was either yesterday or day before. Every time I say, oh, I'm gonna actually, you know, write this stuff down, what each one was, so we can remember. Oh, I do it for a couple of days, and then it's like I don't remember to do it. I get sidetracked. Something else is going on. Well, you know, when I do all of this and I start writing it all up and I'm posting, I'm sort of doing it all together at the same time, and rather than just waiting for one thing to end up, because if I did that, it would take me all day. So I figure, well, I allot myself this time in the morning to get this stuff done and to do the writing I have to do for the blog and for Patreon and anything I'm going to put up on Medium. I try to get it all done in the morning. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I have to start it the night before, particularly if it's going to be additional stuff for Medium or something, because I do write over there as well. But I try to get it all done, and so I have to, whilst one thing's uploading, I'm writing, and so it's crazy in the mornings for me. But it's fine. I like it. It's kind of my process. So, to kind of be multitasking. I can't just do one thing at a time. I mean, I don't know. I know there are people that can do that. They really can just focus, and just works diligently on one thing. I can't. I'm like, I have to have more than one thing going on. So this works for me. Anyway, we have the Empress, the card 3 of the Major Arcana. The Mother Goddess card. Mind, body, spirit balance that then gives birth to the world. Basically, it gives birth to our experiences. I like her. I don't like the Emperor. Emperors and kings, not into them. Magician, what will we manifest? Card 1 of the Major Arcana. Okay, so let's go ahead. This is talking about legacy today and what's going to happen in terms of our future, and how much of the legacy, legacy again can be good or bad. I mean, we tend to think it in a positive way, but sometimes the legacy we leave is not so good. But here we have new beginnings, the 10 of Pentacles. It's a 1 energy. We're in a 6 energy for the day, so you're looking at higher self-influence there, shared purpose, shared abundance. You're awakening to the idea that you're not alone in the world, and that you can share your experiences, you can share your abundance, you can share compassion. Just share yourself, your time. Your time is probably one of the best ways to share. Especially giving your time to someone else that maybe you haven't talked to in a while. Maybe they don't have anybody to talk to, and maybe they kind of live alone. And especially right now during a pandemic where a lot of us, we take a look at what's going on out there in the world. And we're like, not going there. We're still trying to go out every 2 weeks. It usually ends up twice in 2 weeks, which is not comfortable, but I don't know. It's just worked out that way. Especially, you get people that fight against all of this. They might wear the mask in the store, but they wear it below their nose. Or they might wear it right, but the second they're starting to walk out of the store, as people are walking in, they're taking it off. Or they're putting it on as they're going in, as you're going out. That happened yesterday. We had a situation. We went to a local farm store, and because I called them and they had some broccoli starts, and I didn't get mine started, so I had to go buy some to have some winter broccoli. And I think I'm going to call the store because it was so egregious. She's wearing her paper mask hanging from her glasses, not around her face. And then she plows through all of us that are standing there in the line waiting to go in. She just plows through. And I'm like, oh my God. And I said it out loud. And I turned away. She literally touched me as she came by. I was so upset. And I could not believe what she did. She could have gone around and avoided all of us. But there were probably, oh Lord, there were probably 4 or 5 people in line that she had to walk by and that she did this to. But she literally, right, and touched my arm. It's like, come on, lady, you work there. And maybe she doesn't anymore. Maybe people complained and she's been fired. I hope so. I hope they fired her. I really do. The whole experience there yesterday was nutty, and I We all stood in line for probably, 15 minutes just to be waited on because you only had one checker. The other two were busy with people that were there forever and you couldn't even get through. So it was just a weird situation out there. And I'm just not willing to, I don't know. I guess I'm going to narrow down where I'm going again. I'm just responding with how I'm responding with my dollars, basically. But here we're talking about legacy, and what legacy are we giving to people? Are we establishing by behaving this way, right? During a time that is so critical that we quash this. Now that we're contemplating, and we see our school doesn't start yet. It doesn't start till the Tuesday after Labor Day. That's when our schools go back. Our kids go back to school then. We're not doing it in August the way East Coast people are. And I don't know why, I don't know where it changes, but in any event, here we don't do it till September. But the legacy that we're leaving is either one of negligence or one of committed action toward being as safe as possible here. I don't know. But here we have an older man. His abundance is around him. His dogs are in front of him. And we have his family on the other side of that archway or right underneath it maybe. And it really talks about transitions, doesn't it? Transitions from the older man to the younger son or daughter. And the legacy that's passed on. This one, you see the pentagrams or the pentacles are arranged in the tree of life, the Kabbalistic tree of life. And it just shows how we maneuver through that and what the outcome is now that he's at the end of his life, perhaps, or getting toward the end of his life. And now the whole energy shifts to the younger folks, right? To the kids in the family. And then they will take the mantle on of being the patriarch or the matriarch or whatever. Those who transfer the legacy on. And as we go through the archway today, where are we going with that? Where are we going with that? We talked about it in the human design section of the esoteric influences today about leadership. Leadership, but of who? And in what direction? Is it benevolent or is it oppressive? Is it based on just the figurehead or what the figurehead can do to elevate society? So we're looking at we're going to be thinking about that today in terms of leadership. But how are we going to manifest it? Leadership both in our lives in terms of the choices that we make on behalf of others, in our family, our children, the people in a checkout line. How are we going to do that? Are we going to just appear, take kind of a halfway approach with the paper mask hanging down, hooked onto the glasses, but just hanging down off the face, because that's what she did as she's walking through people. Yeah, I'm going to make a phone call today. That's just nuts. Anyway, we have the Magician. His hand it's an as above, so below card. We see one hand raised to spirit with a scroll in the hand, in his hand, and his other hand is pointed toward the earth, toward form. And basically what he's suggesting is that he's bringing the word of God into form. We see a lemniscate above his head, suggesting cycles, the eternal cycle of life. We see his tools on the table, his magical tools, his pentagram, his chalice, his sword, and his wand, representing all four elements. We see the abundance, the lilies. Below, we see the roses. Lilies suggesting purity, roses, abundance, and love. That we come into this whole manifestation, this whole form that we take with purity and love and with the ultimate good in mind, to go forth and learn and explore based on whatever theme that we've decided on. So if we've decided on a service to self theme, well, that's going to take a different form than one that is more focused on service to others. We see the wreath above, or not the wreath, but the garlands above. Again, love and balance and harmony flowing from spirit into form, into what we manifest today. That's supported by the third card, or the card 3 rather, of the major arcana, where we see the Empress, full of abundance, full of life. Look at her crown. You see her shield there next to her with the glyph for Venus on it. She's calm and she's serene. Sometimes she's shown as being pregnant, but it doesn't really appear so in this particular card. But other, I'm dropping runes everywhere. But other decks will show her as pregnant. Yeah, it doesn't show it here, but it's the whole idea that she's the Earth Mother, that she's the goddess that gives birth to the world. In some decks, you'll see the Emperor, which is card 4, looking at her. When you're looking at the lovers in this deck, you will see Adam and Eve, and you will see Adam looking at, or the depictions of Adam and Eve. You will see him looking at her, and she's looking towards spirit. But of course, she's the bad guy, right? No, she was given the, okay, heresy time. She was given the knowledge because she could handle it, because she, in fact, is the one who gives birth to the world. So she's got to know, doesn't she? She's got to know how to keep everybody alive, keep everybody functioning. So she was given the herbs, she was given the magic, she was given the science, she was given the tools with which to do that. The guy didn't listen. The guy then has to listen to her. Well, you know where we are now with that, in the oppression of women. It's so funny, you know, we have that Jonathan Swan interview that it's hilarious, really. Well, it's not. It's sad because you get to see just how disjointed this guy really is and how he can't manage this. He has no idea. Never did. Even before he's in the state that he apparently is in now. I don't know. Something isn't right with him, though. There's something going on here. A lot of people are suggesting dementia. You know, a lot of doctors are. And I mean, down to the specific type. I guess his dad had PICS, which is a type of frontotemporal dementia that they're talking about. So, and it tends to pass, you know, through the family. So, I don't know. Maybe that's what's going on. I have no idea. But something is, because he doesn't understand things. His brain cannot process what's going in the way that everyone else can do, pretty much. And so it's scary. But at the same time, you know, it's been said that a female reporter couldn't have done what Jonathan Swan was able to do because he will not interact with women in the same way he will interact with men. He won't let women get away with anything, and he's very cruel to women reporters, especially if they're women of color or of foreign descent of some kind. I've watched him, especially if they're from China. Oh Lord. Or if they're from Japan, he does it to them too. And if you're a woman, look out. He's going to nail you every single time. And it's wrong, you know, but that's what he does. But I think it begins with the whole concept of this misperception over the female human being given the knowledge over from whoever it was that was assisting us during that time. They're giving the knowledge to the woman because she'd listen. You know, she's having babies. She has the survival of the species in on her mind, right? She's going to take care of her children. Well, that's kind of where we are right now. And so what are we going to manifest with the magician? In balance? Or are we going to let it run amok? Will we take the counsel of the Empress and the compassion and the benevolence that she exudes toward all of creation? Are we going to think along those lines? Is something, whatever's coming out today with, whether it's with the uh, Tish James, the AG of New York State, or if it's something else we're going to find out today, it suggests that perhaps, it has to do with our legacy of who we are, and where we're going, and what will we leave for the future. Let's do one more card. And I guess that's the whole part. You think about legacy, and you think about what are you doing now, but at the same time you also have to think about what it is that you're doing now that's going to impact the future. What legacy do we give our children? Is it going to be something where they're having to contend with health issues because of the way this pandemic's been managed? Is it going to be or are we going to have a society that's transformed by some fundamental truth that we're learning now? That we have to agree. We have to agree when something bad is happening. We have to agree on a path forward. Or is this chaos going to result in a legacy where we have no future together? See, that's the thing. The ten of Pentacles is suggesting that we do have one, and that it can be based upon abundance. But if we can't get on the same page with that, if we can't understand the focus, that it needs to have a higher self focus, that we manifest from that standpoint, and that we do so in benevolence and love for one another. I don't know. I don't think we're going to have this lovely, abundant legacy to be carried on by the young. What will that look like? Will it be chaotic, or will we finally get it together enough to say, you know what, we can do things a little bit differently to make things better, especially should something like this happen again? At least we'll be prepared for it. We'll know what to do, and we'll do it. Get it done. Get it over with. Get on with things. Not this time. Not with this guy. Not going to happen. Right? Well, November's coming, so. Well, we have the Wheel of Fortune. It's a very, very successful card, usually. Again, it's another 10, a new beginnings as the wheel turns. We've got all elements, again, represented in the corners. We have Mercury, sulfur, and salt around the wheel itself, the alchemical basis of life. I don't know. I think that it's reinforcing, how are we going to manifest our legacy? What are we going to do in terms of who we are together and how we go forward on a shared path? Right now, you've got people that it's a multiple pandemic, really. I mean, it is, and I've said this from the get-go. It's not just the pandemic of the COVID virus. It's about the pandemic of how we treat one another, and that may be, at the heart of how we're managing this whole virus. Is about how we treat one another. How do we see one another? Do we see one another as the other or the other side of self? And until we can see each other as the other side of self, it makes it difficult to find a shared path together, doesn't it? Too many people are doing this. There's too much conflict. There's too much violence going on. And it's not just police violence, it's violence citizen on citizen. Even if you don't physically harm somebody, people are out to harm others now. It seems to be what we're doing to one another now. Makes no sense. Instead, in this 8th month, we have Tiwaz. It's the 17th rune of the Elder Futhark, so an 8 energy. Think the God tier. Think the spiritual warrior within. It's made up of Isa and of Kenaz. Isa, alignment and in spirit, and Kenaz, the voice of spirit and the light of spirit, imbuing all of that. Eight's about practical stuff, but it's about leadership, and it's about the collective consciousness and the awareness of a leader that understands the whole society, that understands that. So you have a president that's self-dealing like the one we have now. You're never going to have a president who's going to want to enact anything to benefit the country. Instead, the whole draining of the swamp was to take away the regulations that protect all of us. Now you're starting to see food issues because of what he's done there, removing regulations that protect us all in our meat packing plants, protect that food, protect the farm products, the vegetables and fruits coming to market. All of that has been drastically affected. Why are we sending our chicken for processing to China? Why are we doing that? Why aren't we doing that here? And why aren't we doing it safely? You see what I'm saying? So you have a leader who cannot understand the bigger picture, even just in terms of health and safety, because it's better to put money in his corporate buddies' pockets, right? So the big money comes in at the time of election, and he'll have enough money to campaign on. He who said he would self-fund everything hasn't funded a dime. In all likelihood, where? Show me. If he has, fine, but it's not what he said he'd do. Instead, it's this massive, fundraisers where he makes a fortune. And then there's all the ways that he's self-dealing. Oh yeah, go to my golf resorts, go here, go there, spend your money there, and then see he makes money off the taxpayers, especially if it's government people doing it, which they are. It was just a way to grift, basically, and make money off of the country, as well as whatever else he's trying to do. So, again, the legacy we leave is important. And right now, what are we going to do to our kids if we send them back to school? You've got some that are already being quarantined. After the first day, you had a second grade class, I guess, and I don't know if it was the whole second grade classes, all of them, or if it's just one particular one. They're being quarantined. Oh, well, this is an easy one. We have Vaya today for our geomancy rune. A new path forward. It's a series of single dots, fire, air, water, and earth. And it suggests a new way forward. We've got 2 cards of new beginnings, both being 10s, reduces to 1. We have another 1 energy here, manifestation. Together there's a 3 balanced with the Empress. Again, giving us a 6 for today, aligning with today's energy of the 6. Clearly, we have to come from a standpoint of higher self here. We have to let that be the determining factor, all right? We have to bring that voice into whatever we're doing here today. And find a way to understand that for the legacy to be transferred on, that's a good one, that's a powerful one, that takes us into the future in a positive and successful way, it depends on what we manifest now. We're going to manifest in chaos, or are we going to manifest in some kind of understanding of spirit? Are we going to invoke that, or are we going to invoke ego, in other words? That we drew the Empress instead of the Emperor, it tells me that it's higher self that we're going to choose today. Get out beyond things. Understand the bigger picture of what's really going on. Understand the con that's in play. And then behave accordingly. Reject it. Reject it out of hand. It will never take you down a path of anything that's going to fulfill the tree of life. And that process, what are you, do you just want to wallow in it? Is that where we're always supposed to be? I don't think so. I don't think that was ever the intention for souls coming to this planet and incarnating here. But something happened along the way, and now we're sort of in this weird cycle. Well, now with ascension here, we're breaking out of that and understanding that, in fact, we are the spirit that inhabits the body, that the body's just a vehicle and the ego just gets in the way. So, invoke Tiwaz in your life today. Be the spiritual warrior within. And go forth in that collective battle for truth. Anyway, that's it, I think. I think that's enough. We've done enough damage for one day. Anyhow, little heresy thrown in and all of that. So it is what it is. No. I said I wasn't going to say that again. I can't say that. See? It's a habit. I'm not going to say that again, especially after the impeached ones said it about the numbers of people who have died. Oh my God. But I caught myself. So I said yesterday, I'm not going to say that anymore. So now I mean it. I really mean it. So anyway, thanks so much. Except when he's arrested, then I'm going to say it. When he goes to jail, then I'm going to say it. It is. Well, anyway, I won't until then. I started to do it again. See? Anyway, habit. Anyway. Thanks so much for watching. Today is Thursday, so I won't be back until Monday for this one. I'm going to do a weekend edition for the esoteric influences. So I will not do them on Saturday. I'll do them on Friday, not Saturday, and I'll think about what that means I'm gonna have to have everything ready for Sunday. But I can do that because I do it on Fridays. So that way, yeah, okay, I can do that. I'm thinking out loud anyway. Sorry. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. I don't want to be doing something every day. I want to have a day off. I don't know. I just think it's important. So anyhow, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on Monday for this. If not, check out for the esoteric influences for more stuff. Check out, it'll be either on the blog, you can get it there, the expanded edition of it, or you can see the video. And be good to yourself, be good to one another. And if you go out today, please wear a mask. Socially distance. Don't plow through shopping lines. And blessed be.